cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. It's time again.
What up, y'all? You tuned in to the 52 Scott Podcast. This is Music Monday, and I'm your host, Slash. And with me, I got Comedian 96, K Money, Freddie G. Together, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. On Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. All right, and welcome back to another Music Monday. Of course, we got another great topic for you today. So I want to talk about DJ Screw. Of course, we know that June 27th is coming up, which is the actual Screw Day. So I've been informed that there's also going to be a legendary producer seminar that they holding at the George R. Brown Convention Center, which is going to be on July 5th in between 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. So I got a call yesterday, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've been added to that panel. So for all of our DJ Screw listeners, and you really want to know where the foundation of the underground or DJ Screw music come from, you'll see and hear from these different producers at this seminar. So, but you do have to order tickets if you're gonna go. So make sure you get your tickets. There's a contact number. You can contact 713-434-2888. And remember, that's 713-434-2888. There's also another number you can contact, which is 256-990-2606. And that's going to be 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. July 5th. Screw, legendary producers of the H-Town music, will be on a panel. I'm sure there'll be other things involved as well. Again, I'm not quite sure what the topics are going to be, but I have been added to that panel. So if y'all want to come out and hear some good information from some of our legendary H-Town producers, y'all make sure y'all show up. Screw Day, of course, I thought that this event was going to be held at the Screwed Up Records and Tapes location, but that's not where it's going to be. But I do want y'all to show up. Y'all, come out, support the DJ Screw movement. For those who are with the DJ Screw movement and you want to know who these producers are, what songs they produce, come out, shake hands, talk to people, just get acquainted with what's going on. Because what I do know from this discussion of having this panel, there will be other things coming out now with these legendary producers. They're working on projects, and I think they're going to probably put one together, because I've been informed that we're probably going to do some stuff where all of us who are actually the forefathers of the H-Town music, we're probably going to start putting some projects together just to kind of heat the city up, because we did heat it up at first, and then, of course, some of the members of the Screwed Up clique took off, and, that was like the last we heard of them. Some of them died. Some of them haven't been keeping it too real in the streets with the real producers and the legendary H-Town producers. So, not to say that we exposing information or anybody like that, but we just want to tell the truth of where everything started at, where it come from. Of course, again, it's H-Town legendary producers. I'm on that panel. Y'all make sure y'all come check it out. So let me jump into this right now. Snoop Dogg announces a new gospel album called Altar Call, honoring his mother. So I think it was supposedly have been her birthday, which is April 27th, which was yesterday. So that would have been his mom's birthday. Her name is Beverly Tate. So I want to say happy, birthday to her. Shout out to Snoop. And I think this is a great idea, man. Snoop did one gospel album before, if I want to say it was 2018. Do y'all remember that album?
I do recall.
I do remember it too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Now I'm really eager to hear what this comes out, being that the release date was just yesterday. I haven't had a chance to really get into it yet. But I'm sure, Snoop gonna have something, man, that's gonna be uplifting, from a street side. And I like to hear the gospel rap like that. Nothing against, gospel music at all or gospel rap in a sense, but I think that I know Snoop's gonna come from a more street version than some of the other gospel rappers, where they basically, just church, which is good. Nothing's wrong with that. But here's my thing. Snoop did that gospel album. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that this will affect his fans that listen to his music?
Not at all.
Regular music?
I don't think so.
Not at all.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so, because if you are a Snoop Dogg fan,
Right.
you may not. Good music is good music. That's number one.
Right.
But if you're a Snoop Dogg fan, I don't think we should be. We should allow people room to grow and expand their art in
Right.
different areas.
Right.
So just because he was gangster rapping at one point, and if he turns around and make a gospel album, it doesn't. He's more than just a gangster rapper.
Right.
He's more than just that.
Now, what I will tell you, what I think, and I know for a fact, we know who Snoop Dogg is. I'm sure when Snoop Dogg was in there recording his gospel album, I bet you he was high as hell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think he's high every day.
every
I
day.
bet
Yeah,
you he was high
Yeah,
as
he's my
hell,
type of guy,
Exactly.
man.
He's probably high every day. And if he don't have it,
Yeah.
his day will be off.
Oh yeah, somebody gonna give it to him. He got it. It's no ifs, ands, or buts.
we bought 1, 2, 3 into the 4. So if he just made an album saying his ABCs, we didn't already bought his 1, 2, 3s. If he said his ABCs, we still gonna listen to it.
But now I will tell you, I respect the fact that Snoop is not afraid to get into the gospel rap. Simply because, when it all boils down, no matter what your success is, where it started from, where it ends up at, God had control of it all. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be in that situation. So, I applaud Snoop for that.
And look at it too. This is not the first time a popular rapper has
Done a gospel record, right.
done a gospel record or tapped into
Stepped outside of their lane.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, a lot of artists, some hardcore artists,
Right.
may have put a gospel song
On the project.
on a particular project. I mean, come on, you had DMX.
Yeah.
Lord,
Yeah.
give me a sign.
And he was actually a good speaker when it comes to the religious speaking. He got some
Yes.
poems, man, where it blew my mind when I heard one. I think he had this on, it was either Rakim's new album, but it was like a prayer
Yeah.
in poem form.
He could
Hey,
pray.
man, he did that.
Yeah, he
could pray.
put poems on all
Yeah.
of his albums.
Yeah,
man.
and I'm telling you, man, God touched him, man. He was being used for that. I'm sure, And a lot of times, like I say, these celebrities, they got a lot of stress going on. It's a lot of work. They up long nights, and a lot of them get caught up into different, drugs and stuff like that. But I think at that point is when they really should think about, who brought them to where they are, and always give back and give respect to the man who gave you grace in order to be as successful as you are. So yeah, I think Snoop is doing a good job, man. And I just want to say, doing a gospel song from a street guy, I think we can most relate to that. Even if you smoking weed while the song playing, you know what I'm saying? Because and the only reason I say that is because that's real. People that know Snoop Dogg, a lot of people, you got a lot of 420 people that know Snoop Dogg, they know Snoop Dogg smoke. They gonna listen to that gospel album, they gonna be smoking weed, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's nothing wrong with that, as long as you remain focused on, you're not doing nothing wrong. I don't think you're doing nothing wrong by smoking weed and listening to a gospel project.
I don't think anything wrong with
Nah,
is
because
wrong
God
with that.
created all of this. That's a herb. That's a natural plant that God created.
I agree.
And what I'm saying is, the Indians had the peace pipe. It was no tobacco in the peace pipe. Tobacco is man-made. God created the herb, the natural herb, and our body is full of herbs and minerals from the earth, which we are from the earth. Weed is from the earth. So I think all of this kind of makes sense. God wants you to be great. So he created this plant. And it doesn't do nothing to you but make you think. It keeps you alert. Now I'm going to tell you where it affects you worse, when they got all this other stuff in it and you falling asleep. you're overdoing it. That's not the one you're supposed to smoke. I don't think. I mean, for real, I don't think God mind you smoking weed, man.
Oh, you open it up in a dispensary or something? Like, that was a good sales pitch.
No. I'm not, but I'm only trying to say that.
It's nothing wrong with Snoop smoking and
doing a gospel record.
Right,
And
I
you know
agree.
what? And on the gospel record, man, he kind of Zuzu these days. Hope it gets better, but Kanye did a gospel album.
That's true. Kanye did do a gospel album.
Yep.
Kanye's album
And one of
was
them
good.
songs I really like.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Oh, and on his other one, he had Jesus Walk.
Yeah.
Jesus Walk.
Jesus
Yeah.
Walk.
But he-
And that was before the gospel
Yeah,
project.
before the gospel
But he was
project.
going that direction. So it's always been on his mind. And I applaud these guys because, man, I tell you, man, like I said, at the end of the day, man, God is in control of it all. We can't forget about him no matter what we do. You know, when we doing good, when we doing wrong, when we doing bad, we need to praise him, period. You know, and there's nothing wrong with having that music. If you're not going to go to church, you know, put on one of these gospel records. Just get close to him however you can, because what we do know, man, it's a lot going on everywhere you go.
And
Every
just
day.
one more. I just thought of. Now it was back in the '90s.
Yeah.
But MC Hammer.
MC,
we
yeah.
gotta
MC
pray.
Hammer.
We
Yeah.
gotta
MC
pray
Hammer.
just to
That's
make
why
it today.
we pray. Yeah. Yeah, he did have that.
Yeah, he did.
And now I'll tell you, and I'm gonna drop this buzz again. I think I dropped it maybe last week, but I'm working on a project, and I got a song with gospel lyrics to it, and I'm gonna tell you the artist who did it, and this is what he's on right now. And I'll tell you, he haven't lost nothing from when he was regular street rap. But Big Mike of the Ghetto Boys, formerly of the Ghetto Boys, got a song with this dude, man. And this is how I told Mike. I say, look, Mike, I'm doing this project, man. I need you on it. I say, but I need a hook and a verse. It was a full song. I sent the full track to him. So it's about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes long. I sent it to him. And I say, man, just a hook and a verse, man. Let me know what you got. So a couple of days later, Big Mike say, man, give me a few days, man. I'm almost done. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. It's no rush. Take your time. I trust what you're doing. He called me back, man, I think a day later, and he was like, man, I finished with the song. He said, man, but I got to tell you something. I said, man, what's going on, Mike? He said, man, I can't let nobody else get on there with me. And I was like, okay, well, let me hear what you got. And he, you know, sent me an email of the product that he done. So I'm listening to it, and I'm like, man, this jamming. And I say, shit, Mike, wasn't nobody going to be able to be on there with you anyway. He did it to a point to where I don't think anybody else, not even myself, and I know some good artists, I know some good rappers, I know some good writers, but I don't think anybody could have came behind Mike on that particular song that was going to mesh with what he was doing. Because what he did, he took the track, he listened to the track, he paid. Mike is very, what do you call it, when you're detailed. He's detailed when it comes to listening to the tracks. He's going to find something in there that he can follow, you know, to create a melody or build a melody around. And he did a really good job. So, I mean, the gospel stuff is really, really good. And I'm not working on a gospel project, but I don't mind having that song on the project because of what he's saying and what it stands for. So shout out to Mike, man. And look, I'm gonna give you a call, man. Soon as I get some stuff squared away, man, we're gonna finish that up, and a couple of other people I got some stuff going on. All right, so now I want to move away from that. Shout out to Snoop for the gospel project, man. I'm loving that. Now let's go into, we know that Diddy's case is coming up here shortly, somewhere around March. He's had a couple of attorneys that said, no, I'm not going to do it, da-da-da. Well, there's one particular name that's popping up. Allegedly, he actually broke his silence to defend Diddy in a way to where it's got people now, you know, like, hey, what's going on with Busta? So, allegedly, Busta breaks his silence and says, man, let's not judge, you know, nothing about Diddy or what he's doing, you know, da-da-da-da. And we know it's a lot of allegations with this Diddy stuff.
Right.
But the main thing I think that Busta was trying to defend Diddy on was the fact that Diddy was bisexual, so to speak, or having sex with different male and female sex workers. So allegedly, Busta Rhymes is protecting that in a sense, but what I've been hearing, I think we've heard recently from the girl Jaguar Wright. She had a lot to say about other people because I don't know if y'all remember, excuse me, when this first took about, where Diddy's case started coming in, there were things coming, from the left side saying, hey, Jay-Z's next.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z canceled that. Some kind of way he got in there and his name been silenced from this nonsense. Well, they had to jump to somebody else, and I think Busta Rhymes was next in line for this, because I've been hearing different things, different bodyguards have been saying, oh yeah, I did work for Busta Rhymes, and yeah, when he has a club night, it's expected for him to have a certain amount of people in the VIP section, not necessarily women. So what they're saying, that Busta Rhymes is into what they're calling fun boys. So what it sounds like to me is Busta's DL allegations are starting to shine through the light. Also, what's the guy? Orlando Brown also mentioned some encounters with Busta and Diddy, saying what he did. Allegedly, he, did something with these guys. Not sure what it is, but I mean, speculations are pointing to where this is a situation where Busta Rhymes is more into men than he is women. And they've also said that there's allegations where Busta Rhymes would get upset with females just for nothing at all, just for being a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So these are allegations that have been out before, or these are just now coming out?
Well, these are allegations that's been mentioned by several people, such as Orlando Brown.
In the past.
Yeah, in the past. And also Jaguar Wright mentioned his name also. Now, I don't know how far she went.
But Jaguar been going in
on a lot of people.
On a lot of people.
But
she
they
really been going.
her.
Yeah, she been going in on 50 Cent as well.
Man, you know what? I'm going to tell you like this. I don't put nothing past nobody. When you look deep into the music industry and you see where it's been going and where it came from a long time ago, and all of the speculations about, the stuff that's going on, the bisexual accusations and stuff with these artists. I mean, Hollywood is huge, man. The music industry is following that path, especially on that side. So like I say, I don't know who's all involved in it. Personally, I've never had an encounter with these people, but there's been things said that points the finger to where, I think the music industry is full of it.
I think Busta will fall under the cracks because he's not a big target like a Jay-Z, like a Diddy, like a 50 Cent. Those are bigger targets. I mean,
but once it comes out, how you think it's going to be easy to fall up under the cracks after allegations like this are made?
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, he's not running. I don't think he has a.
Not yet. So what they're saying is he visited South Africa or something recently, and he's trying to get his residency there. So
they trying to stop him in it.
That's another allegation that they're saying that he's trying to run before it gets hot.
It gets hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just all allegations again. I don't know of none of this to be true, but this is what's coming through the pipeline. And most of the time, when you start hearing stuff like this, all of it's not true, but you start hearing different little bits and pieces, and you can kind of start putting two and two together. But I do think that this is a serious situation, and I think this is just one other name that's been mentioned due to this Diddy situation. And I think there's going to be so many more. But there's also speculations that the feds may have video footage of Busta Rhymes having an encounter at some of these Diddy parties. So that's probably why he was trying to say, hey, let's not place blame on what the brother doing. Let's not just say this is who he is. But I don't know. Again, I mean, I've heard it. I've heard Jaguar Wright say, yeah, Busta, your business going to come out too. I've heard these things. Never really looked at it and said, man, you know what? But I think this is beginning to be something that's a little more serious. And the only reason I say that is because this is a culture. That's not just something that's, going on just amongst certain people. This music industry, that is part of the culture of music. And a lot of times, us that do music and we not on is because we not gay.
Man, when I hear stuff like that, and I'm not saying it's not true, because I don't know, but the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the source of where it's coming from. That's the very first thing I want to do. When I hear something that have me like surprised, I'm like, okay, where's the source? Where's it coming from? Now, hearing that the source was Orlando Brown was one of the sources, that kind of make me like, damn, I don't know if I could trust that source, but we still don't know whether it's true or not.
Right.
I'm like, damn, man, this dude do say some outlandish stuff.
Now, what made me say about the truth when the bodyguard started mentioning it?
Yeah.
Somebody that's bodyguarding you and working for you getting paid.
So
now they not gonna. They don't disclose information once they get paid.
I'm gonna touch that. I'm gonna touch.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention because I'm just mentioning in order. Then I heard Jaguar Wright, and I'm okay. The source. I know Jaguar Wright says a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Then I hear the bodyguard, right? And I said to myself, okay, I'm not saying I don't know. Again, we don't know.
Right.
We're just reporting. We're journalists reporting what's out there.
Yeah,
right?
speculations.
Yeah.
Accusations.
Yeah, and so I would be like, okay, now is this a disgruntled bodyguard? But my thing is, if it's anybody other than the bodyguard, because the bodyguard worked for him.
Yeah.
If it's anybody other than the bodyguard, here's what I would say to that individual. Put a name to it. What I mean by put a name to it is if you're going to say, I heard that he was doing X, Y, and Z, well, who told you? Put a name to it.
There you go.
If you bold enough to put it all out there, start putting a name to this stuff.
Right.
Now, I will say Jaguar Wright, when she talks about somebody, she'll say, such and such. You remember Casey, I'm just making up a name, Casey Ullman, that you messed with in 1997. I will give her that when she talks about it, because if I just heard her name a full name and
Let me show you
allegedly.
something. Yeah, but let me show you something, though. Yeah, I remember Comedian 96. You remember Shamika. You remember Shamika.
Yeah.
Now, I heard that
Gotcha.
Shamika put her finger somewhere that I wouldn't even think you'll allow her to put her finger. That's what I heard. Now, you know you used to mess with Shamika. The thing is I need to put a name on where I heard it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so you leave it up to people to make things in their own mind. And you'll throw a name. Yeah, you know Shamika. We know Shamika. Okay, well, who told you Shamika? Did Shamika tell you she put her finger? Okay, let me, you know, so.
That makes sense.
You gotta be careful.
Hey, Jaguar Wright and Orlando, I'm not saying that they're credible with the things that they say, but in the past, with the information that they've said, has it come to be true?
Some of it have.
Which makes you have to kind of believe some of the shit that they're saying. Orlando will mention names.
Here's the thing. Why I believe some of the stuff that Jaguar Wright said was because once it got to a certain person involved, the force on silencing her was like immediate. If nothing's true and I don't have nothing to worry about, I don't care what you say. If you don't have receipts, I could care less what you got to say about me, because they talked about Jesus Christ.
Facts.
So whatever you got to say, unless it's true, I'm not even finna debate with you or try to silence you or get into nothing with you or have attitude.
Not gonna entertain it whatsoever.
I'm not gonna entertain it, and this is what celebrities' status should be at all times.
That's what I said when Cat Williams came on there. When everybody started coming out of the woodworks, I said, you look guilty. If you're not guilty, don't say nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Don't respond.
That's right. You don't respond to that foolishness. That's kind of like a beef with two rappers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna use Kendrick Lamar and Drake for this particular thing. So if what Kendrick Lamar said about Drake wasn't as close to being accurate as it sounded, then Drake shouldn't have had a problem with what he was saying.
Right. It was just entertainment.
It was just entertainment. So, I mean, don't start getting upset about something that's not true because you start to look good.
So let me ask, and I get it. You know, I get that. I get it. You know, sometimes you just sit back, but then in some cases is where like, okay, man, you saying too much and you starting to piss me off. So let me put it to you this way: what if I walked around and I said, K Money, Comedian 96, and Slash, I've been out there saying that y'all do X, Y, and Z. And what I'm saying is negative about y'all. And it gets back to y'all that I'm saying these negative things. Now, y'all heard it from one source.
Right.
Y'all don't say nothing. But you're hearing it, damn, man, Freddie G out there saying all these things about us. At some point, I know y'all are coming to me like, hey, man, what you talking noise, man, I heard you saying this about me.
Right.
Because we can only take so much. Now, when you're a celebrity like that and you don't see a person all the time, the best way to respond is to get back on records.
Yeah, on the record.
But we see each other all the time. But if y'all get wind that I'm in the streets and I'm talking about y'all and I'm talking down on y'all in any way, shape, or form, at some point, y'all going to want to approach me.
Yeah, because you remember Scarface song, Another Head Put to Rest?
Yeah.
It's going to go down, man.
Yeah,
You can't just...
So that's my point, though.
Right.
So when y'all say people just need to ignore
Right.
what's being said, now at some point, now I got
start,
kids.
right.
I got kids. Now you sitting there saying that I'm gay.
You're going to have to address it some point in time.
I got kids out here.
Just out of respect.
As a celebrity, you saying that they eventually should address this?
I think they should. I think that they should not so much address the clear of whether or not they're gay or not. But hey, I'm not going to sit back and let you keep going in and going in. Now I know that you want. Now let me rephrase this. Let me put more to it. If you and I are pretty much on the same level, celebrity wise,
And okay,
if we're on the same level,
okay,
and you keep going at me,
okay, I feel that.
now I need to go and get back at you. Now I may not do it in the way that you've done it. I may turn around and be a little bit more professional with it, but I can't just keep letting you talk like this here. Now if I'm a A-list celebrity and you a Z-list, if such a thing exists, but you are a Z celebrity, then I'm not going to even pay attention to that because you're trying to get up to where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree.
Trying to get attention. But now, if we're on the same level, man, and this is going bad, wait a minute, hold on, man.
Yeah. But the worst thing about this Busta Rhymes situation is the bodyguard speaking out talking about, yeah, man, he's a very zesty dude. You know what I'm saying? And the zesty. And here's my thing, what make me think that there's possibly some truth to this, because I've never heard the word fun boys used. Have y'all ever heard that word?
Nah, this was the first, bro.
This is what he's calling it. So this is probably what he calls his fun.
I'm
fun
sure we're going to hear a lot more of them.
And like I say, man, I don't know. I've never seen it. I can't say I've seen him do nothing, but I'm just saying that it could possibly be some truth to some of this stuff that we're hearing. You know,
Busta, I hope it's not true because I rock with you.
Already.
But if I'm ever in your presence, you need to put your hands where my eyes can see.
Hey, that was something about that I want to bring up. It was a song, and Diddy and Busta Rhymes did this song together. Well, they mentioned that particular phrase that you just used, Freddie G, and them in a performance. I don't know if y'all saw this performance. They was rapping together, standing next to each other, and then they turned around and their backs was on each other's backs, like holding each other up, you know. But that put all your hands where my eyes can see, I think it's some speculations that came, the studio session I'm hearing was built on more than just a musical vibe. Think about the words.
Yeah.
Now. Put all your hands where my eyes can
Things
see.
that make you say,
Straight Buck Wildin' in the place to be. If you really want to party with me, let me see just what you got for me. Hold on now. I don't need to see what you got for me if you trying to party with me. We in the party, we smoking, we drinking, we having a good time. I don't need to see nothing. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm doing, I don't need you to show me what you got for me. I don't need nothing from you. This is a party. I got my own blunt. I got my own drink. I don't need, hey man. So I'm just saying, listen to the words.
It's gonna take a whole different meaning now.
And again, y'all, this is just speculation, but I'm just saying, you know, it takes on a different meaning, K-Money, like you said, when you think about the accusations and the songs that's made. Because that's him and Diddy on that song. Let me see just what you got for me. I don't know, you know.
I ain't gonna lie, the song jamming though, man. The song jamming.
And I'm not taking nothing from their creative, you know, contributions to music. They all great, you know, great artists, great rappers. Diddy's a wonderful producer. You know, he's responsible for a lot of the biggest hits that came out in the 80s and early 2000s. Busta Rhymes started back with Leaders of the New School, so he's been around for a long time. But what I will say, y'all, I know I've heard so many speculations like this about a lot of the East Coast rappers. This is East Coast rappers. East Coast is where it's all started at. So I think this is just a part of their culture that now bled into the music industry as of a whole, as well as the entertainment through movies and actors and stuff like that. So it's just a lot, y'all. You know, they speculating. But I mean, you know, it's still a business, and what we have to learn as people of the business is you can't just detour yourself from a situation because what you think another person is. So now I'm finna give you some grown folk stuff. Even if you have heard speculations of somebody that you about to work with or been working with, that they got something going on, that don't have nothing to do with you. That shouldn't affect you. It shouldn't affect the way you work with a person. You know, because people going to do what they want to do. You don't know everybody's past, but because you know this person, now you want to discriminate. You really can't do that. That's not godly. So unless it's something that happened to you where this person has actually tried to do something to you, I don't think you should worry about what they do when they leave there. You know, what they do in their bed is their business. Just on the cool. So I got some news from somebody, and it had nothing to do with speculations of somebody being gay, but it was just mainly me saying sometimes, you know, I backed up from a lot of the music scene here because you got some funny people here. But I was instructed, man, look, you cannot let, because it's something like that, detour you from claiming your stakes in the game. You know what I mean? Continue to do what you do. Don't worry about what they doing. And I think that's just a little bit of business that'll help everybody with their business. And what I want y'all to do is get in our business and come back tomorrow. Fuck with me. Peace.
So that's all, y'all, for this edition of Music Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Come back tomorrow and check out True Tuesday with K-Money. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, D52 Scott Podcast. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast.